Hi, this is Tanya from Love Butter Tarot, back with the daily forecast for the 26th of July 2017. Right, okay, the cards today. We've had a good week, and like I say, we have the Leo moon, which is all about desires and wants and needs, and I feel that is the way the cards are going this week. Like I say, the tarot apocalypses which I'm using are always sort of very strong messages, but they always sort of stick to a theme as well. And the card that we have for today is the Fool. Now, you know, I love this card, and especially in this deck as well. I don't know if you can see that. It's like you can see the movement in it. And this is a fabulous card, and when the Fool comes up, it does usually indicate a choice, but it might be a hard one, but it is a one of importance. It's a very, very powerful card, the Fool. And it's sort of, you know, it's like, it talks about freedom. This is what it's about. It's the number 0, so it's about starting again, starting from scratch, wiping the slate clean, taking all of the knowledge that you've gained up to this point and actually then sort of putting it into practice, you know. So it's like, you know, with this card, what I get is I get like a wildness and a freeness with it as well. Now, whenever we mention the word wild, you know, we sort of get this sort of feral picture in our head. Do you know what I mean? Like something dishevelled and completely out of control. But that couldn't be further of the truth. You know, wildness, when we unleash our wild side, you know, what we can do is we can experience sort of like a massive transformation. You know, it allows us, when we are wild, it allows us to stand in our magnificence. I mean, if we look at that card, you can see it, you know, and it instills a strong sense of direction in us as well, because when we go back to the wild, you know, the wild what we were, the primal, you know, this is when we used our internal compass, you know, we used our intuition, you know, people used what was there, you know. We didn't have clocks, we didn't have sat-navs, we didn't have anything like that. We went back to basics. And this is what this card is saying, you know. And it's saying when we do this, when we unleash this wild side, we can break free from all of the restrictions that are holding us back, you know. And we like sort of, it's like awakening this awakening the inner us, the primal us, you know, this like god or goddess, you know, whether you're male, female, whatever, you know, it's awakening this primal energy within you. This is what this card is talking about. When we do this, our senses become more heightened, you know. Like I say, when we lived in the wild, you know, we relied on our senses, you know, we relied on them, we relied on our taste, our hearing, you know, our intuition, our feel, everything, you know, our senses were what was important. But we also had this creativity, you know, we also had this passion. And when we do this, when we tap into the Fool's energy, what happens is we allow these passions to burst forth, you know, and our world can become a lot more like colourful, magical, and we can actually live the life that we're meant to, you know. We can embrace fun as well, you know. So this is what happens when you take the Fool's journey. I mean, within tarot, it's called the Fool's journey as well. And this is him starting again. And we go through different cycles. And this is saying that this is the start of a new cycle, which is all of the cards this week have been about births and new beginnings as well. When we embrace this side of us, when we embrace this sort of, you know, this primal who we were born to be, the obstacles will like dissolve, you know, as if before our eyes, you know. We can overcome the adversities that are there with ease, and we realise how strong we actually are and how in control of our own stuff we actually are as well, you know. When we go into this wild as well, when we go into the wild, one of my favourite films in the world is Into the Wild. You know, most of you will have probably seen it, and it's beautiful. If you haven't, see it. If you have, watch it again, you know, because it's such a great story. So when we do this, we usually find that our pack is drawn to us as well, you know. Our tribe will come, because, you know, that's it. We were meant to belong, you know, but our pack would find us. We didn't have to find them, or we didn't have to play small in order to be accepted as part of the pack. So when we embrace the Fool's energy, we can stand tall in like our certainty as well. We can establish our territory, and we put up boundaries as well, and we protect them fiercely, because we are there to protect ourselves. We know what our worth is, and we will protect it no matter what. That is the commitment that we make to ourselves. Another gift that we get when we embrace the wild side as well is that we gain a deeper level of understanding. Our wisdom sort of like comes to the forefront. We have roots then, we feel grounded, we become strong. The fire inside of us, which we've already talked about this week, sort of ignites as well, and we discover parts of ourselves that we have forgotten, parts of ourselves that have lain dormant for a while, things that we've repressed, aspects of our psyche that we've repressed, that are in there, that are screaming to get loose as well. And we become this incredible being that we were born to be as well, When we look at the Fool as well, the Fool has no fear. In traditional tarot, the Fool is jumping off a cliff. He's not looking below him, so he's fearless. And fear is a negative emotion, it restricts us and it holds us back. It keeps us locked in this like self-imposed prison, and it stops us from achieving, or even at times recognizing our true potential as well, When we become fearless, when we let that fear fall away, our restrictions fall away as well. Our fear of rejection, our fear of failure, fear of pain, fear of the unknown, they all disappear. And instead, we open this doorway to like opportunity and possibility, and there's an excitement comes with that. I was just reading this morning an article by Jan Robinson. I don't know if any of you follow Jan. I absolutely adore her work. She does a fantastic poem called "This Is for the Woman That Don't Give a Fuck," and it's she's a young girl, and honestly I have a huge admiration. I think every single young girl, or teenager, should start reading her stuff, because she's got it, and she lives in this like wild way, but it's beautiful. And she, when she is having a wobble, she shares it, and that is it, because she's not scared of that. And she was talking in today's article, I'll not go too much into it, you can read it for yourself. She was talking about fear or danger, and she was saying she was on a plane with somebody who was scared of flying, and she said, if the captain comes and says, right, we're going to crash now, get in the emergency position, you are in danger then, so that is danger. Your body needs to react in that. If you are just sitting there saying, I'm scared of flying because I'm this far up or whatever, that is just fear. That is not real. There is no evidence to back that up, but it can actually make you ill, by holding all this fear in. So it's trying to differentiate where there is danger and where there is fear. And like I say, the Fool knows that he's not in danger, because he's taken this risk that is needed, so like I say, he is fearless. And when he is fearless, this is when you find your confidence. When you do something that's, that you were at once scared of doing, and you do it and you tackle it, you get this like inner, wow, I can do this, and you get this inner belief. So your confidence goes up. You embrace any changes that are coming, because you know that you are powerful enough to get through them. You know that these changes are for you, You know that. So all of these challenges or whatever, this becomes your life force. You want to tackle them, and you want to push yourself further. I remember the first time I went off traveling, and I was terrified. I'd never done it, but I needed to prove to myself that I was still strong. I'd gone through a very, very traumatic time, and I thought I'd lost my willpower. So I pushed myself to make sure that it was still there. So when you are like the Fool steps off that cliff, he trusts the universe, and he shouts out to the world, show me what you've got. He's ready for it, He becomes more truthful because he's living in his truth as well. He's taken that risk and he's free. He's free to do whatever he wants because the restrictions have gone. He speaks his mind without having to censor it. How many times, think about it, how many times are you around different company and you want to say something but you think, oh, I can't say that because maybe they will take it in the wrong way or whatever, And that's it. So you censor yourself. You can't be free. When you're the fool, when you take this fool and embrace the fool, you can confidently express your wants, your needs, and you are opening yourself up to a whole new different world. A world where you can say yes to life. You stop playing small, you laugh at the small limiting beliefs that you've had in the past. You laugh at the people that told you you can't, You don't laugh in a nasty way, you just say, watch me. That's it. You can't do that. Watch us. That's the best thing. And you gracefully walk away from anything that is toxic to you and anything that doesn't serve you because you know your worth and you know what you want out of life. So your warrior spirit kicks in and that kicks ass. That's what happens with the fool. I absolutely love it. And like I say, some people will say that the fool is foolish. He's not. He's just, he wants to embrace everything that's there. He has this understanding that there is more to offer him, He wants to stand out, not fit in here. He becomes bold, he becomes brave, and he lives his life according to his rules and nobody else's, And what he's doing when he's doing that is he's honouring himself, Honouring his honour for himself becomes more important than the acceptance from other people. And this is when he can live an authentic, bountiful, blissful life. This is what we're all searching for. This is why so many people are going to yoga and, why so many of these self-help books are the best sellers. This is why people are watching these videos because it's what we all want, But we can all have it as well. But we need to step out of our comfort zone. We need to step off that cliff. We need to let fear slip away. And we need to embrace the changes that at one time we might have been afraid to take. When you know you cannot fail, the sky's your limit. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do now? If there was no such thing as failure. And like I say, the only way you are guaranteed to fail is by not doing something. You might do something and it might work out in a different way and it might not work out in the way you want it. But at least you tried and you know that way it doesn't work. So then you try another way. But if you just sit wishing and hoping, that is when you will fail by not doing anything. In this card, the fool is very mystical in this card as well. And a mystic, if we look at what a mystic is, a mystic's beliefs transcend ordinary understanding. It goes way, way higher than what society sort of imposes on us. This is what happens when you sort of tap into your mystical brain. You connect to a higher source. This allows you to see the way the world works. This allows you to unravel the mysteries, that have had you confused for years. And this, again, opens you up to possibilities. When you embrace a mystical or spiritual life, your consciousness, and your experiences expand and they go beyond the normal. Normal is a cycle on a washing machine, There's no such thing as normal, Embrace your differences, embrace your weirdness, embrace your uniqueness. And this is what the fool does. And it's almost the way I sort of see it and the way I have described it to people. It's like when you step onto that spiritual path and you suddenly understand, you suddenly connect. It's like putting 3D glasses on. When you're at the cinema, you're sitting watching a screen, but you put those 3D glasses on and suddenly there's all this other stuff there that was always there, but you just didn't have the eyes to see it. So like I say, when you embrace the fool and embrace this spirituality, your mysticism, your fearlessness and your wildness, this is when, you feel and you see things that you didn't know even existed. You tap into your spiritual power. You know, you get then led to meditation. You get led to all of these different paths. Little paths just open up all of the time, and you're learning and learning and learning, and things, the penny starts to drop. Things start to make sense to you. You know, you develop your own rituals because you're creating with the universe, and you're corresponding with the universe as well. And then what you can do is you realize that you have a gift, because every single one of us does. And then you realize that you can use that gift to help others as well, because every single one of us is here to serve in our own unique way. You know, mystics, when we are sort of a mystic, we trust in the universal plan. We realize that everything and everyone is connected. You know, we know that the experiences that we are experiencing or we have experienced are all part of this bigger plan. Even the pain, we know where it is leading us. You know, we trust in the process and we take things in our stride. So whatever comes at us, we know that we can handle it because we've handled it before, and we know that we are being protected, you know, and that this is happening for us. And we believe that everything is happening for our higher good. So this card, the Fool, today is talking about the beginning. This is it. It's the start. And if we have a look at this card, in this, it's a Sufi. And a Sufi, what they do, it's sort of like a religious sect. And what they do, and they spin and they spin and they spin, you know. But in spinning, what they're doing is they're surrendering, you know. They're tapping into the earth forces. You know, all of us are spinning in some way, you know, because the world is spinning. We just don't notice it. But they heighten it. And in doing this, they transcend, you know. This is what they're doing. They're changing. They're not changing form, but they're bringing the energy back to them. And this can bring about an altered state, which happens to us during meditations. It happens to us when we take psychedelics, you know. This is why there's so many studies going on at the moment about psychedelics, because psychedelics open the mind. This mind that has been closed, it cracks them open. And I'm not saying go out and run out and take LSD. I'm not saying that at all. But look how many people now are looking to ayahuasca and looking to San Pedro. They're looking to plant medicines, natural medicines, because the medicines that they're getting off GPs and off the pharmaceutical companies are making them more sick than what they actually are in the first place. So they're looking back to the old ways, because the old ways are what worked before we started to break them, you know. So this is about tapping in. And it's like I say, it's you know, our mind needs expand. Our mind is such a wonderful thing, you know, but when we keep it closed, it doesn't reach its potential. It can do so much more, you know. With the Sufis, it's poetry, it's music, it's dance, it's all combined, you know. This frees the creative soul. You know, our soul is creative. Every single one of our souls is creative. You know, whether you say that you can't draw or whatever, you know, every child, when you were a child, you done it. And that is before you had these restrictions, and you would paint the house this size and the person that size or whatever, because that's how you've seen the world. And that was you being creative. And then somebody said, no, that's not right. And you think, all right, okay. Because every single one of us wants to be accepted and wants to be loved. So we fit in, you know, so that we don't upset other people. And in doing this, what we do is upset ourselves. You know, I sat last night and made a golden egg. It was great, with a balloon and paper mache and everything. Well, plaster bandage and everything. And I sat and I was like a kid. I was sitting outside in my garden. I was covered in plaster, covered in paint. And I was like a pig in shit. I was so happy with that, you know, just using my hands to form something. And it reminded me of when I used to sculpt, you know, and how I used to feel just connecting with that clay. And this is what happens with the Fool, you know. The Fool embraces his creative side. If we look at that beautiful sky as well, you know, it's like red sky at night, shepherd's delight. You know, this is it. There is a new dawn coming. You know, not just for you, for the world. You know, we are embracing. Sorry, this is getting really heavy, but this is the way they're coming through. This is it. There is a new dawn, you know, and all of us are part of this. And we have to go through the pain in order to experience this, you know, in order to experience this new birth. This is what the Yogi Bhajan spoke about with the age of Aquarius, and we're all embracing it. And like I say, we're here to serve, you know. But what we need to do is we need to find this union with ourselves. Too many people are looking for other things to make them happy. You know, other people, or, you know, the big cars or whatever. When I get this, I'll be happy. It's, you know, the fool is happy with what he's got. If we have a look in traditional tarot, the fool has a little backpack on his shoulder. That's it. That's all he needs. And he's setting off into this wild world because he trusts, you know. So this is talking about the awakening of yourself, the awakening to yourself, to the real you, you know, the beautiful, magical, unique, fearless, wild you, you know, that is who you need to embrace, you know. And what happens within this Sufi dance, there is 4 stages. And the first stage is the awakening. This is it, you know, suddenly seeing who you really are, suddenly embracing that. You know, the second one is to witness the creation, you know, the splendor of the creation that is around, you know, that is what is there. You look and you say, God, this world is beautiful. I thought this world was dark and grey and beige. Look at all the colour in it. And this is when you step out of your comfort zone, you find that, you know. The third process in it is transformation into love, you know, and submission to the universe. So you let love in and you say to the universe, that is it, I trust you, you know, do with me what you will, you know, I'll be your bitch, you know, say that to the universe, I will be your bitch, you know. And the fourth is to serve, because we have work to do. That's why every single one of us is here. We have work to do. So that is what the dance of the Sufi is, you know, and it's beautiful. And look at how high he is. And because he's up there high, you know, he can look down. And these big problems that if you stand staring them in the face, look teeny tiny. It's like being on a plane when you look down, you know, this big town that you lived in is that size. It's like Lego, you know. There's so much more. There's so much more vastness, you know. So within this, the fool, it's the death of the ego, the death of the old restricting life, anything that holds you back. It's about tapping into that divine inspiration. It's about revelation, you know, suddenly getting it and think, right, it makes sense now, you know. I was talking to a friend last night who came, and they're a little bit troubled at the time, so they came and they went, you know, it's hard. And I said, yeah, it is, but nothing that's worth it isn't, you know. If you want to train and you want this fit body, you know, it's hard work. They say no pain, no gain, you know. You don't just get handed a degree for turning up at uni. You've got to work hard for it. Anything that you want and anything you want to achieve, you have to put the work in. And often that work is painful. But the rewards are worth it, you know. And when you can live this free life, that is, God, it is priceless, you know. Some people complain and say, my readings are too expensive. Yet within a reading, I can, do you know what I mean? I can put them on a different life path with it, you know, with the messages that Spirit give me. You know, is there a price on that? You know, you can't. It's you know, this is it. It's like you've got to look at, you know, sometimes there is a price to pay, but sometimes it is worth it. And this is what happens in life, you know. So to get to that state, you know, is that not worth something? Is that not worth putting the hard work in? You know, others might call you foolish and you get it, you know, and it's like, you know, you will get mocked. People throughout time have been mocked for their beliefs. People that said the earth was round, you know, got mocked for their beliefs. You know, people that spoke about gravity got mocked. People that said that they wanted to put an aeroplane, a machine in the sky and to transport people were laughed at. And look at what would have happened if they had have thought, all right, okay, people are laughing, I'm not going to believe it. What would have happened then? Our lives would have been so much different, you know. So like I say, people will always be mocked or jeered at, and this is by the people that don't understand, and they will have their time to come when it's suddenly, you know, and they will eat him humble pie, because every single one of us learns it, maybe not in this lifetime, but in the next, you know. So this is about new realizations. It's like having a beginner's mind, but having beginner's luck as well. It's sort of like when I seen this card, I heard the song, the Beatles song, The Fool on the Hill, you know, and it's like, you know, the people laughed at him, this fool on the hill, but he sat there with a grin, you know, because he knew he was on the hill, he could look down and he could see them, you know. He doesn't listen to them because he knows that they're the fools. They don't like him because he's embraced the difference. He sees the world spinning, you know. That's it. It's like, you know, he gets it. And these are the people that are often mocked and jeered, you know. So that's it. Be like the fool today. Sorry, that went on really like the Tarot Apocalypsis, man. The crazy cards. Sorry. I was going to have a drink there. Look at that. Even on my cup, you know, you've got David Hockney, Andy Warhol, Salvador Dali, Pablo Picasso. All of these people were laughed at and mocked, you know. Yet they changed the world in their own specific way. So the Osho card today is receptivity, and this is saying allow it. Connect to the ground and connect to up above. Hold your hands up in surrender. This is when you will get alignment. You know, dive into what is ever there. It's like the fool jumping off the cliff and diving into this beautiful, cool, deep water, you know, which will cleanse him. You know, it's beautiful. And this, if we have a look, this figure has no head because it's saying get out of your head and get out of your own way. There's no place for busy minds, you know, or thoughts or controlling actions within when you take the fool's journey and you take the fool's leap. You know, this is saying it's time to be cleansed. It's time to be replenished. You know, you think how good it feels just getting into water. Last week I swam every single day and just stepping into the sea and letting it sort of wash over me. It was, you know, God, you know, it was like therapy. It was just, it took everything away that I'd been carrying. It was cleansing, you know. And this is saying you don't grasp to anything, don't cling on to anything, go with the flow. Bruce Lee said, be like water, you know, and what that means is just flow. Water goes, you know, naturally. And this is it, you know, go back to your natural instincts, you know, because this is when you will live the life that you want. You know, so this is a beautiful card and a beautiful card of healing, and it's talking about sensitivity. Like I say, our senses, you know, become heightened. It's talking about our intuition, you know, and our compassion as well. When we let love in and when we sort of embrace these qualities that we have been given, this is when we will shine, you know. This is when the obstacles that are there disappear as well, you know. Because obstacles are only there, you know, and restrictions are only there to separate us, you know. What we need to do is we need to find and we need to gather and we need to be a whole again, you know. Get in that pack, get that wildness and that fierceness, you know. So like I say, that's an absolutely beautiful card, and it's telling you to surrender, you know. Stop resisting it, because it's like, why would you want to resist something that is such a beautiful gift that is coming for you? And the Colette Baron Reid card is fork in the road. So this is it. You're at a crossroads now, you know. It's like, do you go back? Do you go forward? You don't know where to go. So, like I say, there's a decision needs to be made here, you know. And what do you do? Do you go back to what you know? Or do you, like, carry on in the direction of your dreams? Will you take the road less travelled? Or will you sort of, you know, like take a one that's been worn down by so many people, you know, and follow the flock? This is your choice, you know. I can't make it for you. Nobody can make it for you as well. People will try and tell you, but this is your choice alone, you know. Like I say, circumstances or people can't make it. It's a choice you need to make. And to make that, you need to be present, you know. You need to just be, you know, because you can't avoid this junction. You know, you can't avoid it. You need to actually make a decision on where you want to go here. So this is talking about your evolution, and this is talking about your truth as well. So will you open yourself up to the possibility of love and a life beyond your wildest dreams, you know? Or will you remain isolated? Because to go into this one that will give you your dreams, you need to go deeper. And you need to go deeper into you, and you need to sort of be as deep as that ocean, you know, because that's what happens, you know, when all of these things and you start sort of going through them in your mind, and your mind is racing and everything's making sense, and then you're coming up with questions and you get one question answered and then another question appears. But that is beautiful because you're learning all the time and you get this thirst for knowledge. And this is what the Fool's Journey is about. It's about us gaining knowledge and wisdom, you know. So this is saying that this is time for you to take responsibility for your truest desires, you know. Take the path that will get you there, you know, and follow that path. Be honest with yourself. Look at how much are you willing to pay. I've talked about price there. How much are you willing to pay to get the life that you want, you know? Because, yeah, there is a price to pay for it. But I'm telling you, you know, that price you could pay tenfold and it still wouldn't be enough, because the gift that's at the end of it is priceless, you know? So this is beautiful. This is saying, you know, it's are you ready to move forward with authenticity? You know, are you ready to step into a life that is based on your truth as well? So it's like making a conscious decision, you know, not sort of hanging on to something because you don't want to be alone or you fear change. You know, like I say, the fool is fearless. You know, the fool is by himself. He knows he has everything he needs because he has his senses, he has his intuition, and he will meet people on the way, like the magician, the empress, the high priestess. He meets all of these people on the journey, and they all teach him more, because everybody we meet is important, you know. But in the long run, he's going alone, and he doesn't care, because he knows that that is all he needs. And at the end of the day, we're all pretty much alone, or you know, once we realise that, you know, people come along, and that is great, you know. But nobody can do our journey for us, only us, you know. So this is saying, will you walk on this path to gain a truer experience and to follow your heart, you know? Stop that monkey mind as well. Like I say, get out of your own way with this. You know, you can do it. You have the wisdom there. We have the owl, you know, and the owls always know the way. Follow the owls, you know. I always say that. I love owls. So yeah, so wow, quite a heavy message. I was not expecting that. I woke up with a headache this morning, and God, now it's my head is busting. But I'm going to pull a spirit card and see what it is. I mean, that Fool card, I'm looking at it again. It's almost like it's spinning. Look at it. You know, he's tapping in. It's like as above, so below. He knows, you know. He's embracing this, and there's the purity of heart, the purity of spirit in his white clothes as well. And they were actually, what the Sufis wear was actually, it's the death robe that they wear when somebody dies. But that's it. It's because the old you is dying and the new you is being born, you know. So it's fabulous. It's such a wonderful energy coming through with these cards this week. So right, okay, spirit card for the 26th of July. Right. Stand up for what you believe in, regardless of the consequences. Speak your truth no matter what others may think. It's time to stand in your own power for all of the world to see. Now, I've said this before, this card always reminds me of Che Guevara. You know, it's a freedom fighter, and this is it. It goes with these cards. It's time to fight for your freedom, you know, and that fight will be worth it, and you will win. Because when you have your freedom in your sights, you know, and love is your weapon, you cannot lose. So I hope that made sense to some of you. Please let me know. God, I don't know what messages I'm expecting of this today. I love that. I absolutely adore that. I think that's one of the best readings that my favourite readings that I've ever done. I hope you think the same as well. But please let me know. And if anybody would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. The link is below there. And it's dead easy to book, you know, and you can have Skype, you can have phone, you can have, you know, whichever way is best for you. But please take some of that on board, and like I say, let me know if it makes sense, you know. Let me know if it got you riled up. It's like I'm like ready. It's like, right, okay, this is it. What do I need to do? What do I need to do to set me on that path? Okay, so have an absolutely fabulous day. I think there's going to be a lot of thoughts going around in people's heads today, but like I say, I only get what's given. Okay, so have a fabulous day, and I'll see you tomorrow with the cards of today. Sat Nam.